Okay, this is a meeting of the Acushnet Bicycle, Acushnet Pedestrian and Safety Committee, right? Okay.
So I make a motion to be
Yeah.
to order.
Do you second that?
Second motion.
Okay, here we
All
are.
those in favor, say aye. Let's have it, all right.
Okay.
Very official now, very official.
Very new.
Very new is what it is.
Yes, you're out in the boonies here.
If you
Anyway.
forget, it's right up there who they are.
Yeah. So anyway, I did, not for you, but we have an agenda that has most of the stuff after you can come. Just the first thing was approve the goal and mission statement that I had here, which is our mission is to improve bicycle and pedestrian safety in Acushnet through advocacy and education. Period. Short and sweet.
Motion to
Beautiful.
accept.
Second.
All right, that's it. Okay, we're good. We have a
All those in
mission
favor, say
statement.
aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay.
None.
Ayes have it.
Okay. And
See what you started?
I will tell Tanya, I'll email Tanya. I noticed, yeah, it's a different one. It's a different one on the website. So anyway, second thing is, we have a guest, Colleen Peckrell. She's the outreach coordinator from Safe Routes to School of Massachusetts. And she's here to talk about Safe Routes to School and let us know what it's all about and what we can do in town.
Well, thank you for having me. So I am the outreach coordinator for the Southeast, South Coast, Cape, and Islands region. That's kind of my territory. There are 7 of us, I believe, that cover different regions in Massachusetts. So you have me, lucky you. Are any of you familiar with any parts of the program at all, or?
I've heard a lot about it.
Okay.
Don't know what it really
Okay.
entails.
So if you were to go onto our website, you would basically see a breakdown of what we call the 6 E's. And, oh, thank you for pulling that up. So if you go to, what is the Massachusetts Safe Routes to School program? And basically, there's different components under each of the E's to kind of tie in different components of improving safety in the community. So one of those E's being education. So a lot of the work we do is going into the schools and doing pedestrian and bike safety sessions. And those are really great, like interactive sessions with the kids. A lot of times communities will partner up with their bike committees or their police force, and they'll have those members go in and do the education instead of like the outreach coordinator. And that's kind of a nice sustainable way to keep it going. You know, you have those committee members every year that want to participate. You have the school that's interested, and then it kind of just flows every year. And then another big portion of our E's. So education's our big one. I would say evaluation is another big one, and under that E, you'll see things like arrival dismissal observations, walk audits. We do a lot of mapping services for schools and communities. So I actually did bring, I went through kind of some of the files that we had for like Acushnet schools and what they've done, and I brought some of the stuff along with me. So this is just an example of the student radius map. So this is data that was pulled back in 2023. So, you know, it's from last school year, but you can see kind of, this is a map of where all the students at both the elementary school and the middle school, where they reside in proximity to the actual school zone. And I apologize, the printing colors came out a little bit funky, but this is also available digital, so you can kind of zoom in and actually see like the streets and whatnot. But what I really think is awesome about your community is look at how many of those students are living within that half-mile to a mile radius of the school. And what we use these maps for primarily are to kind of figure out, is there a population of students that could potentially walk or bike to school.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is it as the crow flies radius, or, you know what I mean? Like,
How
so,
far is this?
like, if it's a half mile,
Tells you right there.
right,
Right
it's a
there,
half
yeah.
mile of the school, but is it a half mile, like if I'm walking from my house, I'm legitimately a half mile, or is it a half mile if I'm walking through yards and
I
back?
see what you're saying. So in this map, it's more of a crow's nest, just
Okay.
looking down.
Okay.
So,
Yep.
so
So it
that
could
would
be
be
a bit
more of
more.
like a walk shed map, which actually, I'm glad you mentioned that. So student radius map, is great. I'm glad that we already have that, because that's something that I encourage communities to kind of have already pulled, because I think it shows some great data of, hey, look at this community, look at these students that could potentially be using walking or biking to get to school. Maybe they are already, or maybe they're not. And if not, let's figure out why, and let's figure out what we need to do to get there. And so another part of our evaluation E is a travel survey, and that's something that we do with the schools, and we send it out to families, and it's just oh yeah, it's working. Just a brief questionnaire, and what it does is it asks families to pinpoint the nearest intersection that they live at, and then it asks a couple questions about how families get to school, whether it's in a vehicle, a bus, walking, biking, and then it asks a couple questions about, how many vehicles are in your home and things like that. But what is generated from that is a walk shed map. And again, I have to apologize for the printing. So I think I brought, wait, I'm sorry, we'll have to pass those out. So that one is for the elementary school, and then I'll pass out, this one is for the middle school. And if you flip to, oh man, that printing is really a bummer. I'll send this digitally so that you have it. But if you flip to the back of that packet that I just sent you, that is an example of a walk shed map, which is, Cheryl, what you were mentioning, using, it's a map that uses, it generates based on sidewalks, shared use paths, lower road usage roads, lower vehicle usage roads.
More factual.
So this one's probably more accurate as to where the students live. Is it actually a half mile, or is it, longer than that because of the route that they have to take? So again, I'm really excited that Acushnet Schools just did these. I believe it was 2023, last spring. So these are, pretty recent updated data. And, if you look, the participation rates on both of them were 67 and 62%, which
Not bad.
is pretty significant. And compared to some of the other communities, is a big jump. So I think that is fabulous. And I think it also goes to show that families are interested in talking about this and are interested in either having, conversations around safety or conversations around improving active transportation in the neighborhood. And so I wanted to bring those to you so that you have them. And then the last E, I know I'm kind of going through this kind of fast, but is an arrival dismissal observation, which is, I mentioned that to you. And I only printed one because it's pretty hefty, but this is just an example, again, I'll send it digitally, of what a report would look like for an arrival dismissal observation. So we did this back in 2022. So, a little bit ago, but the whole idea is observing the procedures at arrival, at dismissal, looking at, do the buses and cars interact with walkers and bikers? Do buses and cars interact? How is traffic congestion? How are the infrastructure for, signs and lines and all of that? So this was also done, and I can pass this around. I'm sorry, I only brought one, but feel free to look at that. So that one was done previous to the student radius map, and then it was the travel survey. So it kind of went in that order. So there's definitely been a big push for evaluation in the schools, and actually it looks like you can see the E's now up on the screen. So education, like I talked about, are the sessions. Evaluation I talked about as a couple of these reports and whatnot. I'll go back to encouragement in a minute because I think that will be a big thing that you will be involved in. And I just wanted to touch on engineering quickly because if you're not familiar, there are 2 grants or funding opportunities for communities to apply for through the Safe Routes to School program. So each, I would say end of August, early September, every year the grants are released and there's 2 different ones. The first one being Signs and Lines, and that is a reimbursement-based funding program. So schools, municipalities can apply for this and fund the program up front, and then MassDOT will reimburse any costs. And that one's really more quick fixes on school zone property. So like repainting crosswalks or, putting in new stop signs or pedestrian crossing signs, anything that like could potentially be done over the course of that school year. So if we're talking next year, so by the end of, June 2025. The second grant opportunity is a little bit bigger and it's for, larger projects, and that one's called the infrastructure grant. And I believe right now it's funding up to $2 million in projects, with the intention being that these projects are supporting walking and biking and improving safety infrastructure or in that realm. Of course, it might include some work on the roads, but primarily talking about shared use paths or improving sidewalks, putting in curb cuts and sidewalks, all of those things. And those projects are typically like a 5-year scope. So you don't see those improvements for a bit, but it's a work in progress, and at least it's a start. So that we do see a lot of schools apply for, I would say more schools apply for the Signs and Lines grant than the infrastructure. The infrastructure is definitely more of a hefty application and more of a commitment, I would say, just because it is a 5-year project, and that includes like DPW and town engineers and whatnot. So definitely something to consider. I will say when communities in schools apply for these grants, we do often look to see, have they done other things in the program, like have they conducted any sort of observations, or have they had Safe Routes come out and do pedestrian safety sessions or whatnot. So I think in speaking for Acushnet, I think it's really great that we have some of this data already collected, and they've clearly only worked with the program a bunch to get this, so I think that's awesome. And then for more of the fun, like Safe Routes to School events stuff, we do have flagship days, which are kind of bigger walk to school, bike to school events that we have every October, February, and May. So it's the first Wednesday of each of those months. And October is technically International Walk to School Day, so we call it iWalk. February is our winter walk, and May is Massachusetts Walk, Bike, and Roll to School Day. So that was.
Acushnet participate in that?
They have not participated in the past, and I was just looking to see if they did this year, and they have not.
So
No.
who would go to the schools and inform them about that?
So
Would it be us?
you could definitely, I would definitely encourage that. I have certainly, sent out emails and whatnot to encourage, but I think a lot of times with schools, there's barriers around like who's going to help organize it, who's going to help volunteer, especially if it's a bike to school event, like who's going to bike with the kids that want to participate on the road. And so knowing that there's interest from a committee that might have potential volunteers or might be willing to help volunteer and run the event might be of interest to the schools. That might kind of help kickstart more of
We
a.
have a whole year now.
Yeah, exactly. We have
Right.
until October
Yeah.
to the next one, which is great because, it gives some time to plan.
And you said it's the first Wednesday of each of
Yes, the first Wednesday. Another great resource at the schools is like the PTO. A lot of times they will be more willing to host like a meetup location. I've seen like PTOs host like a little kickstart, like a little kickoff party kind of, where the kids meet at like a parking lot somewhere and then they walk that distance to school. So the PTO can be good in kind of organizing some of the logistics too. But, you know, definitely between myself or community members or, anyone, I think sometimes it's just, it gets lost in translation, especially in the springtime, there's a lot going on. But it really is, it can be a really fun day, and I think once families do it once and they see how fun it is, and once the kids do it, and it's just exciting, and it makes them hopefully want to do it more and more. And I also think once they do it once, it brings up conversations of, you know, oh wow, you know, gee, our sidewalks really are outdated, or, you know, we don't even have sidewalks, like, how are we supposed to do this? Helps spearhead some of those conversations too, because it brings people out and kind of forces them to walk and bike, and it's like, see what we've got going on right now in our community, and then kind of get some more people on your side to advocate.
Have you ever participated in any of that stuff?
In a walk to school event?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have?
Yes. I went to Borndale Elementary School in February for their walk to school event, and then in October I didn't go to their actual walk to school event, but T-Ticket Elementary School does a bike to school event.
So if we get something going, you join us?
I would love, absolutely,
Alright.
yeah, and you know, I can
Alright.
definitely be an extra set of hands to volunteer
Alright.
for
There you
events,
go.
or, oh yeah, oh my gosh.
You're
Okay.
signed on now for Acushnet.
No, please, let me know.
Is your phone
and
number
those
on there
two
somewhere, or
towns-
call
Yeah,
you?
we got our email.
Oh yeah, you know where to find me.
Those two towns are on the bike path, right? They use-
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's, so a lot of those schools
Right,
have
yeah,
that.
right.
And we don't
That
That
have-
makes
we don't
it
have a
so
bike path.
much, right.
Colleen, do any of the schools that suffer for lack of bike lanes and proper sidewalks enlist the help of their police or safety traffic departments to put out maybe temporary cones and to cordon off an area like they do for road races
Right.
and say this is bike to school day, and they'll help you at both ends and to make sure it's a safe event.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And they're great, a great resource too, because they can actually handle all of those safety concerns on the road. And also I think it's just great to have them as part of the event, you know, to make it more of a community event, and to build that relationship. So definitely, and actually Borndale, because I mean their school is off of Route 6, and then
Right.
they kind of have like a little access road, and that's really what they're walking, but they rely on the support of their police staff to help run that basically entire event, because I think without it, because you also run into like the staffing, you know, staff aren't able to help before and after school, so it can be tricky to like plan out the logistics, but where there's time and where there's interest, and there's also other ways to celebrate and to do things, like T-Ticket, for example, they have a track out back, and when the kids get off the bus, they have the students go out and like do laps on the track, and they earn little like shoe gems or something, just to kind of encourage that idea of active transportation, and like, you know, we're staying healthy and active and moving our bodies before we sit down to learn, like, you know, so there's other ways to do it. I mentioned like the park and walk, like meet at a local parking lot and walk if you can't, you know, if the neighborhoods are not conducive, you know, every community is different, so it always looks a little different. And I know in a Acushnet situation, you have both of those schools in the same school zone, so you know that's a lot of people kind of going into that one area, but it could make for a really like fun community event. And it doesn't have to be on any of those flagship days. It can be whatever works for the community, but I think like just trying to plan some sort of walk or bike to school event could be really fun. And then a couple of other just like little program things that we have. We do a yard sign contest every year, and that happens usually in like January, February. Each year there's a theme. So this past year was bus stop safety, and kids can send in design submissions for yard signs, and then MassDOT picks their top. I'm blanking on how many they pick. I think it's 5 designs. And then those designs get printed on yard signs, and schools can order them to be delivered to their school zones. And then you have like these really cool student artwork yard signs that say, you know, a popular one this year has a big bus and students waiting, and it has the big stop sign, and it says stop means stop, because there's a ton of cars that just are going right around.
They don't
So-
know that stop means stop.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So,
Hopefully they read signs.
yeah.
Mrs. Aviza over at the Acushnet schools does do, if not the yard sale, yard sign contest or the snowplow. So I've shared it with her before,
The
and she
snow-
says, oh, we're already on it, we've done it before.
Yeah, it might be the snow, or maybe they, I don't think that they participated in the yard sign contest this past year. They could have participated in the snowplow contest though. That's not under Safe Routes realm, but that is a
Yeah, so I'll have
MassDOT
to
project.
make
So I wouldn't know that one, but,
So I think you have some willing participants over there.
yeah.
If she doesn't do it already, she probably would be willing.
And usually the yard sign contest happens, or it falls over that fall vacation time. So a lot of times we can encourage schools to, or communities to send it as like a little
Right,
activity
like a
to do
homework.
while you're home, when it's cold out, do a little coloring. And it's just great, like if there's a winner, we make a little celebration, we go to the school and we drop off the printed yard signs. And I think it's just, you know, another great way to kickstart those conversations of
So do they pick winners per town, or is it statewide?
statewide.
Okay.
Statewide. So it is,
It's a
you
big
know,
competition.
it's a big competition for sure,
Mhm.
for sure. And then in the fall, we do a high school video contest to kind of target the older population of students. And same thing, there's a theme every year. This past year, the theme was the new vulnerable users law, 4 feet when passing. So there was a bunch of videos that high schoolers came up with to present about this new law. And Barnstable, which I was very excited because that's in my region.
Your area.
Yeah, Barnstable High School had a winning submission, which is very exciting. So that's something that's kind of new, just because high schools are kind of newer to the program.
Well, that would be far more challenging for us because we don't have high school.
Right, right.
So we would have to coordinate with Fairhaven, Old Colony, right, and New Bedford.
Bedford.
Do they go to New Bedford? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while since.
Yeah,
And private school.
And private, so I think the high
Yeah.
school would be, yeah, we probably should focus on the
yeah,
younger ones.
so maybe we focus on
Yeah.
that.
That's my thought anyway.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I think that's a great start.
Have you seen that one that was from Barnstable?
The winning one?
High school kids, have you seen that?
Yeah, and it's actually,
Yeah.
it's up on the
Yeah.
video.
Is it?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if that was
Which,
really good.
Mass DOT, or is it safe?
It should be on the Safe Routes to School website if you go in encouragement. Go to the like home.
Oh, but no,
Oh,
no, I went too far.
Okay, school contents.
I know, it's.
And then,
Oh, encouragement, yeah.
yeah, but that's just.
Yeah, it doesn't. I just love their site.
I know. There's a lot to look at.
What's it called, the high school?
Safe Streets, Smart Trips. ST. Safe Streets, Smart Trips.
Video contest?
Yes.
23?
23, yeah. This is the fall.
Dartmouth did pretty well for
Mhm.
a couple of years.
Barnstable.
Oh, first place even.
Is Barnstable right there.
Nice. So that's where I worked
Yes, so that,
in Hyannis, so I feel connected to
Oh.
that. So good for them.
oh.
Some
So
of these
they
might have
took
been my kids.
a creative approach and used, as you say.
Huge.
Hi, I'm Officer Jane. That was an illegal pass that could have caused a really bad crash. To prevent this, the minimum passing distance is 4 feet. Vulnerable users include bikers, walkers, people in wheelchairs, etc. Roads are meant to be safely shared by drivers and vulnerable users. For visibility purposes, bikers have to have a red light in the back of their bike as well as a white light in the front at night. Let's take it back to the start.
Fantastic.
There you go. That's neat.
Yeah, so like, just like
Thank you.
quick and easy,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That was really well done.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Another,
Oh, I remember this one.
Ma'am, are you aware that you are in violation of a Massachusetts law? Yeah, you must have provided at least 4 feet of distance between you and a vulnerable user, such as a biker.
Go,
You need to
girl.
provide at least 4 feet of space between you and the vulnerable user. 4 feet is about the size of this pool noodle. Because you are not compliant with Massachusetts law, I am forced to give you a ticket. Guard the lives of our vulnerable users and stay a pool noodle's distance away.
Awesome.
So, I don't know if you know, but when you get your registration, car registration renewal notice, and maybe your driver's license renewal, you get
You
a
get the
vulnerable.
It's in there now,
And
yeah.
yes, you do get the motorists give 4 feet to pass the law.
Well, we were just in Westport, I didn't see any signs over there, and they don't have any signs in Lakeville, the 4 feet signs, they don't know anything about them either.
Acushnet has one on Lake Street. I went
Oh,
down
yeah,
it on my
we-
bicycle.
we have
So
them.
they're coming up
They're
then.
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Middle Road has at least one.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
I don't know about Main Street. I'm assuming there is one.
they're definitely popping up.
Yeah, I haven't seen one on Main Street yet.
No.
Is this available on your website?
Yeah, she's
too?
gonna,
This is not available on the website, but I can send it to you.
Oh, okay.
So that you have it digitally, so that it's not all of this I'll send
Oh,
in,
good going.
in an email. And then I'll also link a couple of other things in like a follow-up so that you have, what you need.
So what do you think our first step should be?
So I was gonna say, I think if it's of interest to you, becoming an alliance partner with the Safe Routes to School program is a great next step as like a collaboration agreeing to try and incorporate parts of the Safe Routes to School program in your committee's work. And all that is an online form that just kind of, you fill out your information and that way I have you in the system as a partner and, if you ever needed incentives, stickers, bookmarks, whatever, I could send that to you, but that also just means, you're part of the network and, if there were other observations that were needed to be, done or whatnot, it would be available to you.
Did you
so-
help us with the grants?
Mhm.
You'd help us with the grants then?
Yeah, so and that's another thing too, is you do have to be partnered with the program to be
Alright,
eligible
well,
for.
Alright.
Shake on it. So there is a form online, and when I send this to you, I can just send you a
send the
link
form
to
and then
it.
we can, yeah.
And it
Yeah.
takes all of 2 minutes to fill out, and
You're
then.
going, the cheerleader right there.
Okay, all right,
Right there.
perfect. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, I did it for the South Coast Bikeway.
Yes.
It's very quick and easy.
yes, it's very quick, and it's just, now I have like your information.
Yeah, it just gives us another resource, basically.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Mhm. Good going, Colin, good going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so did you have any like specific questions about, I know I kind of touched on a lot of different things, but I didn't know, were there anything that you were hoping to learn about that I hadn't talked about?
No, I think you were very helpful. I mean, I think one of the things that
Okay.
we had talked about, when we've only met now, I think maybe 3 or 4 times, and
Yeah.
we're still
Yeah,
developing who we are. And we had talked very briefly at the beginning about trying to do something for May, and I was like, well, time out, wait, that's way too soon. But October feels very doable, I think. So I think that helping us maybe timeline that out, right? Like I'm like, we don't want to approach the school, or maybe we do before they end the school year, or, you know, I'm not sure like when we should start that process with the school, or do we, you know, on September, you know, 3rd, when they're opening the door, we there saying, hey, guess what we want to do? So we need to, you know, some guidance around that would probably be helpful.
Definitely.
Because although October feels like it's far away, it's really not.
I know.
It's not, so, right. You know, and I mean, in February, right, I mean, and we, in discussion, maybe we push it to February, but I like the idea of October is just a nice fall day, a nice walk to school day.
Yeah.
February, not so much, so you never know, right?
Right,
So-
well, that's the thing too with February.
So, who do we approach in the school department? Who do we approach? We go in and talk to the principal? I mean, we just go in and say, okay, we're the bike committee?
So
You
I
wanna
would
talk to
say,
you?
most of the work that I do with the schools is through principals, and
Yeah.
then if
Because they're the decision.
if there's someone that they would like
They
to pass
designate.
off, they
Yeah,
delegate
designate
someone
somebody.
else. So
Delegate, yeah.
principal's usually the go-to contact. I do know I have been in touch with Patrick McIntyre, or I think it's McIntyre. He is the business manager of the Acushnet School District, so he's not specifically at one of the schools, but he has reached out a couple of times, just kind of inquiring about the program. And then
Get his number?
yeah, so what I'll
Alright.
do is, and then also I have, you know, messaged the Acushnet Elementary School principal. I don't know if I've been in contact with the middle school principal this year, but what I can do is kind of send this introductory email, include you, introduce you, and, you know, mention that we want to work together to come up with some sort of event that makes sense for the school. And then
Yes.
maybe what we do is send that post this school year, because I think if we send it now, it's
gonna
probably
pass.
gonna fall on, yeah.
They're right.
So usually in the summertime, like when things quiet down and like there's no kids and staff can breathe for a minute,
Yep.
that would be a really good time, and I'll, you know, send that,
Okay.
reach out to the schools and kind of gauge their interest, and like if they have specific concerns or reasons why they haven't done it in the past, figuring out if we can, you know,
Negotiate that.
yeah, work through those
Yep.
before October.
Yep.
And then we can kind of go from there as
Okay.
far as like logistics and
Yeah.
planning of like the actual event. But
Yep.
I think it would make sense, because you haven't contacted any.
We haven't, no.
Okay.
no.
Okay, then that's great. So we can kind of
Going
tag
together.
team it. Yeah, exactly.
You lead the way, honey.
All right, I'll try.
Sandy, what is that guy's position that I emailed?
Stephen Willett, I thought he was property management of the schools. And he, I think you may have shared a while back that he and Patrick had gone to a Safe Routes to School training or something. So I
The professional development.
something, they were going to attend a Safe Routes to School program.
It could have been the webinar. It may have been the
Yeah, their
webinar.
yearly sort of
Yeah, so
across
there's
the board training.
usually a webinar in the like beginning of the school year kind of, and then there's one in the spring. So in the fall webinar touches on the grants and like the application process and all of that. And so I do believe that Pat was at that one, I think gauging, you know, what was needed for an application for either of the grants. And I can follow up with him. We did touch base at the end of last summer, which was kind of when I was starting the role, so it's a little bit, you know, fuzzy, but we did touch base at the end of last summer, and I do know that there was some interest in the grants, so again, I'll include him in that bigger conversation, and then he might also be a good person to talk to, and more so, less about hosting the education events, but more with like the grants and the like infrastructure changes and whatnot. So, but yeah, I'll share all of their contacts so that you have them too.
All right, awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, wonderful. So glad you could
I
join that.
know, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate the determination, because we had a few bumps in getting here.
Yeah.
Thank you
My
for that.
apologies.
No,
You know, I think there
it was all around.
I think it was
so
all around,
It was all
but
around.
we
So
made
we're
it.
glad that we got here.
I
Yes,
know,
yes.
I'm very glad.
Yeah.
And I will send all of this to you so that you have it digitally.
Mhm.
And, you know, if you have any other questions or something comes up and you're like, oh, I forgot to ask about that, just shoot me an email.
Okay.
I'll be around.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
It
you
was
very
nice to meet
much.
you. Thank
Very much
you.
for coming out.
Thank you. I hope you enjoy this weather this week.
It's coming, right? It's finally coming.
It's here. It's here. We made it. All right.
I can put my plants
Good
up.
to see you. Thank you for having
too.
me.
Thank you.
Okay, Colleen, thank you. Bye now.
That was good questions
With
too.
information, information.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we did. Close to do that.
Anybody has one of these?
Yes.
Yeah, anybody have all the stuff you got?
Yeah, this was interesting, the radius map. I seem to think there is somewhat of a pathway that the children use now from one of the adjoining developments.
There is at the elementary school, we're on the back.
Yeah.
Right, but I think that's it. I think that's the only little sort of path that they have. But that's why I asked the question, because I personally feel like sometimes these maps are deceiving, because, you
Can't
know,
get here from there.
right, can't actually get,
You can't from A to B, can
right, you have to
That's
go
right.
this street, that street, that street, which then turns into a mile and a half by the time you're
Yeah,
done versus a half
exactly.
mile or whatever, so. But I'm glad she had the other one, because that clarified it, so, yeah. It's good information to have, for sure.
Yeah, that was a big
We got
one.
work cut out for us, figure if we start dealing with this.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
she's a big, I mean, we got.
Yeah, she'll guide us, she'll guide us.
She'll
Yeah,
guide us,
yeah.
yeah. She
I mean, I
said she'll
think
be
once-
here.
Once she does that warm handoff to the school to introduce us, and we get the school's sort of interest, then we can start working on talking with the chief of police around, because we absolutely would need police, because there's no sidewalks. So
Oh, yeah,
we
there's no
need-
sidewalks, there'd
like,
have
some
to
of
be
that
out
road
there.
would have to
The
be.
cones would have to be
Right,
out
so-
there.
So, but those are the pieces that will fall into place
Mhm.
once we know for sure that the school is even interested.
Right, right, I'm sure they will be,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And plus, if there's grant money involved,
Mm.
you can get some grant money and do something with it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Very important.
As she was talking, I was trying to think of a parking lot. The only one I can think of is White's, but that's, I don't know if that's too far from the school.
Right
The
here.
library,
Oh,
yeah.
right here, where we're sitting. And it's not that far to the
We don't open
school.
until 10:30.
That's right, that's
You
right.
could-
So this could be
you
the
could
start
park
point.
here.
And the kids could ride, walk from here to the
They
school.
could carpool to here, so that.
So what would they do? They would park here and then walk over?
Right, this would be
Or ride their
like
bikes.
the joining point, right? There has to be a start point where all the kids
Okay.
get together, so it's this big event. Where you've got,
Okay.
you know, 30 kids or 50 kids all going together.
They can either walk or ride a bicycle
Mm-hmm.
from this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's
And you
many.
could pick up people along the way, so if
Yeah.
there are
Right,
side
people that are
streets along
sure.
the way
Yep.
and there's a safe crossing.
Yep.
and
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they do in
Yeah.
Fairhaven, but, you know, they have the luxury of having a bike path.
Bike
But
path, yeah.
children all meet in the center.
They come
and
up-
then- and then
They come up from the side streets and then when everybody comes by,
Right.
they
Yeah,
join.
They join in the group.
So there's a lot of streets in
Yep.
between
Yeah.
here,
Right.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
That'd be cool.
yeah, it would have the potential to be fun. We just have to make sure we've got everybody on board.
Yeah,
And it would also illustrate how designated path here,
Yeah,
Right,
how the community would benefit from it.
right. Okay.
okay, so are we all done
The
with that?
next, yeah, I think we are. right?
Okay,
The next thing was the vulnerable road user signs. We were wondering, were they ordered, how many did we need, and where should they go? But we actually know now, because Sandy inquired with the DPW.
yep,
Kathy emailed her a list of the streets where the signs have already been installed. And then when the project is complete, the state will let the town know if any additional signs are available for some other streets that most likely do need them.
so who paid for those signs? Did,
The state provided them at no
Yeah.
cost
And
to
so how
the
does it-
municipalities. The municipalities are responsible for installing them.
Okay, so, how would the town go about getting them from the state? You have to contact the state?
For additional ones, you'd have to.
No, I mean, it's just,
For the
the
DPW.
initially.
Oh, initially
So
you had to put
And
an
that's what I'm
order.
talking about, for
Oh.
Lakeville and Westport, I mean,
Initially, they had to put in an order.
An order?
There was an announcement that this is what we're doing with, along with this law, that we're supplying the communities with the signage. Tell us how many you need, and then they extended it, because they still had signs, or maybe didn't get the feedback that they wanted, or the participation. So I don't know if they still have signage, but that would be the town's responsibility, or city's
The town,
responsibility to
Right.
reach out to Mass DOT.
okay.
Yeah. And for us, we're sort of just waiting to see how many end up put up,
Mhm.
number, find out
Yeah.
if there's more.
Yeah,
Do you have the list there where they were?
I didn't print that out,
No.
no. I can read it, I think I have.
Do you remember
it.
how many, oh, you have it there?
I think I
I'm
have
just
it.
curious.
Well, we certainly know there's one on Lake Street and Middle Road.
Yeah, I just.
In
saw
South
that
Main.
one. Here we go.
South Main, that's
That was
the
the
state.
first one.
That was the state, so that's.
Yep.
Are you in relation to Billy Hall?
Okay.
No.
There,
You know he is?
Oh, yeah.
He passed on, you know.
What?
Not that, no, I'm talking about the senior,
Oh,
not the junior. No, we just lost Thomas for that,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
okay.
Oh, you're not?
No,
No, okay.
no, yeah. So what are the streets?
They're on, it said they got 20 signs, and right now, as of this email, which was May 1st, Main Street, Middle Road, Peckham Road, Lake Street, Slocum Street, Perry Hill Road, Hamlin Street, and Leonard Street.
Is one of Slocum?
That's not 20.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Well,
8.
both
Oh, that's how
are-
many they
That's
put in
what they
so
had put
far.
up so far.
Did they
Wouldn't
say
see
what
it.
streets they were putting them on?
And you figure there's two directions, maybe at one end of each, so
Yeah.
those streets might have more than one sign.
They might, although I've not seen more than one on South Main. You would think
That
it'd be
would
in
be
both
16.
directions, but I haven't seen it in both directions. I'll have to look now to see.
Yeah. I'm gonna go through.
So we don't know the other streets, that's all we know at this
That's all
point?
we knew so far.
So maybe our follow-up question for them is, do they know the list of streets where they're planning to put them? Because
Yeah,
then we can do some homework around, if there are more signs, where are the prime streets that we would recommend that we put on?
right, yeah.
Well, we've got the main cross streets, Lake, Leonard, and Hamlin.
Mhm.
And I went to the DPW the other day and asked them about, all the gravel on all the streets.
Mm.
And they said, I specifically, I said Slocum Street, the bottom of Slocum Street, River Road and Tyler Drive, there's gravel all over the place, all running down from the storms.
Mhm.
So that's bad for bicycles and so forth, and they said they put a work order in for a street sweeper. God, I don't know when is that gonna happen? You know, it's kind of discouraging because you go in there, you wanna do something, you know, and in the Slocum Street Bridge, New Bedford came over, they cleaned up their section, all the grass, the gutters, so forth. Our section, there isn't. So I asked them, I said, well, I have a pickup truck, I'm willing to go out there and clean our section up. Can I take it to the town dump? But the dump's only open Friday and Saturday.
Right.
So I said, you only work 2 days a week? How come it's not open?
Right.
So it's just, it's no help. You know, you're trying to do things and,
Call every other day. I want to know the status of my work order.
Yeah.
There's more gravel now than there was 2 days ago. What's the status of my work order?
I know,
That's.
I know, I'm there, I'm on a beautification committee, I'm right in
Oh,
there.
that's
Right,
right, yeah.
right.
so you-
Yeah, so we just planted, all the whiskey barrels around town.
Did you?
They were beautiful. We drank a lot of whiskey too. But anyways, that's my story and I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
So what else we got there, Chairman?
Oh, the website and the member status.
Okay,
Yes, we
here's the
did that.
website.
Yeah,
There's your
they're all
member
five
status.
All right, so okay.
Okay,
We just need to have them change the mission statement now.
Yeah, we have to probably submit it and then they have to.
they have to, they have
I'll
to,
submit it.
And the correction to the spelling.
Yeah, they have to,
Petal.
drive me
Petal,
nuts.
Zoom
not
type.
petal.
Oh, it's not a flower?
So, okay, that was that.
It happens.
so that's gonna have to, we have to submit it to the town, they'll have to read it and approve it before it's put on here.
Yeah,
Do they have to approve it or we approve it? I'm not,
They-
well, I can submit it to Tanya or Sydney.
right, and
Yeah,
find
and
out,
they'll
then
let me
the
know.
selectmen have to read
do the
it.
final
Yeah.
approval, okay.
Yeah,
Anything we put up, they
They have
have to.
to approve first,
Have to
sure,
approve.
makes sense,
I was already told that,
okay.
in no uncertain terms.
But now that we have, so the, Amy and Eric have formally resigned. And that will be confirmed at the town meeting.
Right.
So we have to wait until after that to post?
I think
It has
so.
to go to town meeting?
That's what,
It's-
that's
She
what,
said it,
They weren't-
yeah,
I don't even think they were sworn in.
yeah.
well, that's what it said in her email, they'd be confirmed at the town meeting, so. Yeah, so I don't know, I guess we do have to wait till, when is the town meeting? Then-
June?
17th or 18th?
Oh, that's a long way, really. Well, I'll check on that anyway, to see if we can advertise for more members.
Yeah, because that was the nice one you wrote up.
Yeah,
So we
that's right,
can't, can we submit that somewhere for
uh,
more people?
until, I guess, as long as it doesn't have to be confirmed by the town.
So I mean, I would ask when you call, but I suspect, you know, he's no
They've already
longer
taken him
listed,
off,
right?
right?
And Amy was never listed, so I'm gonna take a wild stab that we'll
Yeah.
be able to post and see.
Yeah, they just probably can't be sworn in or anything until the other ones are out. I don't know, but I'll ask.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not like we've got people banging down the door, so it'll take a little
I'll
while
send
to.
her that little ad thing and I'll send her that too and say that we want to put that up and,
it would be nice to get a member that's also a parent or
Yeah.
affiliated with
yeah,
schools.
yeah.
Yeah,
for-
Look on that.
yeah. Well, the PTO might be a resource for that.
Correct,
Mhm.
yeah.
Right, so if we, you know, if we can either find out if they have a PTO meeting and go into a brief presentation, or send them the information looking for a volunteer,
Mhm.
because they meet,
They have met here
So they-
recently.
we just
So you-
missed it then,
You
right?
could ask to be on the next agenda, just to introduce
Right,
yourself.
yeah, you know, a 5-10 minute little, this is who we are, this is what we're hoping to do.
Mhm.
If you have a parent who would be interested in joining us,
Yeah.
send them our way.
Yeah, we'll get them, we'll get parents.
The other thing, last on the list is about this Serped email that Pam had forwarded to us. And, it's, oh, for one thing, they sent flyers. What is this now? This is something to do. From Andrea Duart, Transportation Outreach Coordinator at Serped, which is the Southeast Regional Planning Economic Development District.
Yes.
She says they're updating their regional pedestrian plan for southeastern Mass, and they want our help gathering feedback, public feedback, on walkability priorities across our 27 communities. And she sent us these flyers to ask to put on our town's website or share on social media. Has a link to their public survey and their plan webpage. Help them gather data about public experiences and priorities for walking improvements in southeastern Mass. Help them guide planning work, including how we allocate millions of dollars in federal transportation funds yearly and how we prioritize our staffing and other resources. And the feedback will also be shared with Mass DOT and other decision makers. and it closes on July 1st, so I guess that's something we can do, right?
Yes, and this,
Yeah.
I have it up here, this is Serped's website, and this is a regional pedestrian plan page. And it should have a link to the survey right
Oh,
here,
yeah.
pedestrian survey.
Mhm.
I believe I already filled it out, it was very quick, but put in a lot of information. If you want bike lanes on a certain road, write it down.
Right.
It gets in the plan.
Well, it doesn't guarantee that it gets in the plan, right? It's, they take the information.
As a survey, it gets in the,
Right, yeah.
So we're
the
just
survey
asking
results
for,
will be part of the plan.
Yeah,
so they're just asking for opinions.
Yeah, input,
Yeah,
yep.
just survey of,
So just,
oh, cool.
it's very simple.
Yeah, nice, okay.
Oh, okay.
So I guess when, if you're gonna reach out to,
Town hall.
yeah, thank you, sorry. Like, who are we reaching out to? You could also ask to put that up on,
Yeah, those,
right.
on our page?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
You could put the link on, you know, if you can have
On
things
the
like that on
town.
your page,
Mhm.
put it on your, you know, this
Yeah.
is what's new at the Acushnet Bike Committee page.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
You could have a little survey link over here, take this survey, help us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And it's very easy to find on Serped's. I just typed in regional pedestrian plan,
Mhm.
Serped.
Want me to go to town hall tomorrow and ask them if they can do that?
I
Oh,
can
you
do
wanna-
it.
you
I
wanna
can
handle
do
that?
it, yeah.
And you'll notice that the project lead is John Gray. He came here and spoke to you
Yeah, I
from
missed
Serped
at the beginning.
to explain all the things that they did for all the communities.
Oh, yeah, Andrea. All right.
See a lot of people participating in that ice cream run yesterday?
I believe over 250.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of the final count.
Very nice.
Well, I think we're done for today. Anybody have anything else?
No, so I mean, I don't have any homework, but you have homework, so.
Yeah.
The only thing is outreach to the PTO, and I'm not sure that, I don't know if we run out of time for the school year to reach out to them, but I can try to call them and just see if if they have any more meetings coming up or anything that we could connect with them, if you want. I can try.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let me see if they're on my calendar.
Oh. So I don't know how active they are over the summer, or, you know. Lego Club, I love it.
Not up here. I can check though and get back to you tomorrow to see if
Okay,
they have one pending
okay.
or,
Um,
and get your contact.
I was gonna say, whoever the person is that typically, yeah, perfect, okay. So I can at least do that, to see if we can try to engage with them around getting another member. Because, you know, she's right, a parent would be fantastic, because that's a different,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm a parent, but not a current parent, you know? So it changes
I'm
your
kidding,
lens.
so.
Yeah, it changes your
I'm not a
lens a little
parent.
bit as time goes by, right? So, okay. All right,
Okay.
so our next meeting,
Yeah, next meeting is June, let's see. June 18th? Is that what correct? Third,
Mm-hmm.
June 18th, next meeting.
I will be available.
Sandy will not be here. Anyway, so, motion to adjourn?
Second.
Anybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's go.